All right. Well, Outlaws to Advocates. Once again, we don't have any music tonight because I cannot figure out how to get it on the board. It's something I'm just going to have to live with. But the cool thing, if you guys notice on the back wall there, we got some artwork. Jesse, Jeremy, and I went to Star on Thanksgiving, and we got to have breakfast and eat with the members down there, and it was a pretty cool event. And there was somebody there named Peggy Sue, and Peggy Sue drew us that artwork. Is a fan of the show, so we want to give a shout out to Peggy Sue. Say hello, how are you? And thank you so much for the artwork. Look, we got it up on the wall for you now. That's awesome. We appreciate it. Really good to be here. My name's George Nolan. An advocate for recovery. Anybody who wants to get better, anybody who's looking to make some changes. Just really, really, really happy to be here, man. To my right, I got some dude who doesn't want to talk, apparently.
Jesse Messer, recovery reentry advocate as well, peer recovery support specialist at New Freedom. I teach peer support certification there, and I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome, man. And across the table, we have the always present.
Yeah, questionable. No, my name is Jeremy from Phoenix, Arizona. Recovery, reentry, everything has anything to do with changing lives, whether you're coming out of prison or just coming out of detox, man. I'd like to think that we can, all three of us, can play a role in your life in one way, form, or another, and helping you reintegrate back into society.
Absolutely, man. It's pretty cool tonight because I'm going out of town tomorrow. I have the privilege of being able to go back and see my kid and my grandkids and all that, so I'm super excited for that. I get to fly. Don't tell my probation officer because I forgot to ask for permission. It's absolutely not true. I get the paperwork right there on the counter. But it's really cool to be able to do that. Not having a guest tonight's kind of cool because it's just us. We get to chop it up and bullshit a little bit and figure out whatever it is we want to talk about. That's the best part that I love about this is we come in here hardly ever with a plan. Usually we put that on our guests, like, hey, you're going to bring up with something. Oh, speaking of guests, I saw your brother today.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'm not going to be there, bro. And I'm all, you don't show up, I'm going back to prison.
Yeah.
Just know that, Jason. He's all, I'm going.
Yeah. No, he gave us his word, so
yeah, absolutely. He's locked in. Now it's live. Yeah. All 4 viewers
word
heard
means
it.
Something when you're sober.
All 4 viewers heard it, so we got them locked in. There's accountability now.
Hopefully we'll still have them next week. We might lose 2 of those viewers tonight.
Like, man, these guys don't got guests no more. Nothing. Everybody dropped off.
And we had a good run, though.
Yeah.
We did, man.
And we have somebody coming up here, for starting off the first of the year is Jason Shaw, the infamous Jason Shaw.
Oh, absolutely.
January 7th, we're turning around. We have what you scheduled, Senator Senator-elect Annalisa Ortiz.
Yes.
Yep.
Current representative, Senator-elect.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
And she's super game, right? We've talked to her a couple of times. She's like, when am I coming on? And I'm just too irresponsible to get things in order, but 4 o'clock this morning, I got everything figured out and sent out an invitation with the wrong date.
That's great, though. Things aren't going to be perfect in recovery.
No, absolutely.
And you're sitting here talking about travel. This is great. I went out on in between employers. I went to California for a couple of weeks. Took an American West flight out there. Everything's all good. I noticed that I don't have this piece of paper that people have in their hands. I walk up. American West is like, here's your boarding pass. I'm like, right on, cool, right? I go out of town, have a great time. Marlo joins me on the way back. We show up to the airport. I didn't check in. I'm like, first of all, I don't like those words. Second of all, like, what does that mean? Like, I paid for the ticket. They're like, well, it's an overbooked flight. Just in case somebody doesn't check in, we can give that seat to somebody else. I'm like, so I paid you money, and you're asking me right now on my thing if I want to upgrade my seats, and you're telling me I can't get on because I didn't check in within a 24-hour, or I think it was a 3-hour window prior to flight.
No.
Confused, I realized all of a sudden that, I'm like, bad things really happen to good people at airports.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And like,
pretty terrible.
And the privilege of going through COVID in prison was you got to observe this on your television, right? Like, because the news just loves to blast this stuff, right? So I take a deep breath. I take a step back. Marlo comes over and goes, what's the problem? I said, well, I didn't check in, right? And they're telling me I can't get on the flight. So she goes over there and talks to him. She's like, yeah. I said, here's what I'll do. And I got to be at Coda at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? So I jump on the thing and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. There's a flight going at 3:30. All right, paid for it. Da 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 da. Then I get the kickback and it says, well, no, it's a layover flight. So I'm going to Vegas, and then at 10 in the morning they'll take me to Phoenix. I already paid for it. This is traveling, bro. Like they don't teach us in incarcerated.
Yeah,
I've been in this state since I was a kid. Like going out of state was just not my thing unless I was
Pull these cuffs on and sit on the bus.
unless I'm on the run, right? So I lost 150 there, 300 there, right? And then Marla's like, well, and I love her for this. She's like, well, I'm not going on my flight either. And I'm like, so there's another 250,
Yep.
right? So we go downstairs, we rent a car, 250, right? Insurance, 100, right? So $1,000 later, we're home.
Nice.
All because I didn't check in.
Absolutely. It happens.
Should have just left and kept the money.
And guess who I was? And you know what? The Coda crowd the next day, I told them all this, but they just sat there and looked at me like it was like they were just kind of like, I don't know if they just heard what happened, but I made sure I spent this amount of money so I could be here on time to talk to you about prisoner safety
For free.
for free. Yeah. Then what I found out is nobody respects free.
No.
It was funny.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, even I made my flight. Got on it.
Yeah.
Got all the way to Baltimore New York and can't land. Oh, so we're going to drop you off in Baltimore and spend the night there. I'm like, I'm trying to see my family for the first time in 10 years. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
I had to rent a car. Well, I got to rent a car because I was able to. I had a driver's license and credit card and all that shit, like a human being and everything. And got to drive across 3 states, spend the night with my kid, do all that stuff. But even if you make it on the plane, doesn't mean you're making it to where you're going, right? It's just,
Oh, and nowadays your credit card's got to have $1,000 on it minimum to be able to even rent a car.
or to eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me that shit in reentry class, and I taught that motherfucker, dude. This place is expensive, man.
No, but it's just something that like we don't think about, right? Like we're in there, we get out, we're thinking about what's in front of us, parole. We're thinking about how we're going to navigate this, and then we realize that we're being so responsible that something like travel comes up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's reentry all over again.
Yeah.
2 years.
Oh, dude, I heard the coolest thing, man. I want to give her a shout out too. Kim from Arrowette.
Yeah.
I can't remember her last name right now. It's going to drive me nuts, but she's phenomenal. She did 30 years. She's the case manager or program director over at Arrowette.
Yeah.
I see her all the time. She's a rock star, super cool. She looked at her reentry, the way she did that after coming out of prison as 30 years. She told herself she was a tourist because she was in a foreign country, eating different food, didn't know where anything was. And the mindset that you have when you're coming out of prison, re-entering or reintegrating or whatever the new catchphrase is, kind of puts you in the, hey, I'm just getting out of prison mindset.
Yeah.
But when people look at themselves, hey, I'm a tourist, I'm in a foreign country, tourists are usually in a good mood. They're usually on vacation. They're supposed to not know anything. And when you go to somebody and say, hey,
How do I get to where?
I just got out of prison, can you help me? Some of them will, right? Don't get me wrong. But if you go to somebody and say, hey, I'm a tourist, can you tell me about this or where this goes or why that's that way?
They're so happy to help you.
Super happy. Oh, cool. Where are you from? And I don't know how she answered that part of it, but I was like, what a cool way. You talk about mindset. You talk about perspective and all that, and just different ways to look at. We get to choose how we look at stuff.
Yeah.
And ever since she told me that, I use that. I use it when I go into prisons. I always try to give her credit, but it's just it's really, really cool, man. That it was a really cool lesson that I learned from her. You know.
You know what's crazy is my reentry in the past has always been like a little puppy at the door. You know, when you open the little door and the puppy just takes off running down the street, not really knowing where it's going. It just wants to run, man. It's been locked up for so long.
Just keep moving.
And it's like you just take off running, then you get tired, you stop running, you're like, okay, where the fuck was I going and what the fuck was I doing? I really had no plans. I just wanted to run.
And what did I get done?
Nothing, as usual. You know, but the thing is, though, is it's like a little bit of planning and a little bit of preparation can really help direct some of that.
100%.
You know, like instead of just taking off running, okay, what do I need to get done? Okay, what are my priorities? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do it in this order.
No.
You know, what are my needs as opposed to my wants? My money is limited. I'm not working yet. You know, let's focus on the things that are important. I don't need $100 worth of fast food today. You know, but it's easier said than done. But sometimes prioritizing that stuff is important.
Yeah, because at least then you know if you're fucking up.
I was,
You know, like you got off your path.
super encouraged. You know, I'm not gonna say names, but I know him personally. He got out. He had $130 to his name. Went through the program, and bought his last $20 that he has on bus passes, so he can get to and from work.
Nice.
I offered him. He declined.
No.
He's like, unless I absolutely need it from somebody, I will borrow it, but it's the last thing on my mind.
Cool.
I was like, dude, you're going to do great.
Absolutely.
You're going to do great, man.
For people like us, budgeting is so important in being aware of where and how you're spending your money. I know for me, that is huge. I always constantly have to be vigilant about, okay, checking my bank account. What am I spending money on? Where could I save money? You know, where should I be spending money and where am I spending money?
We know how important it is to you. We haven't eaten at Taco Boys in like probably 8 weeks.
8 weeks, yeah.
Because Jesse's budgeting. Good job on your reentry, by the way.
Absolutely. Well, it's important because I do want to own a house someday. I do want to have money in the bank. I mean, I'm almost 40 years old and have spent my entire life on prison and have no retirement, have nothing.
No.
You know, so I can't just keep blowing my entire paycheck. I've got to save it.
That's the one thing, like, I know, I kind of look at it. I was talking to a lady yesterday. Justin and I went to I forgot what it's called, but it's a meeting of like HR leaders. And we were talking to this lady, and she was telling me she's a project manager and talking about her education. I said, yeah, I just got accepted to ASU. I'm going there for organizational leadership with an emphasis in project management. Oh, she goes, oh, that's awesome. You a grad student? I'm like, no, I'm a 50-year-old undergrad. I'm like, you know what else I just did? I just emailed my mom all my grades from Rio to show her I'm like a 50-year-old dude who's bragging about his grades to his mom.
Yeah.
We're living a life. Well, I'm living a life kind of in reverse, which is cool. It's just, that's where I'm at. It's what it is. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to keep moving forward and being productive. And
And shout out to Calissa Han, runs the incarcerated distance learning program at Rio Salado. I will tell you that without her help, I mean, she literally bridged the gap between my mom and I. We hadn't talked in 5 years, and she's like, well, you owe a little bit of money on some old student loans. She got the principal from Red Rock to contact my mom, and they bridged a conversation that initially got that $200 paid. And then she's like, I'm going to give you a course. If you get an A, I'll send you courses every year.
yeah, it's awesome.
And I got an A on every course. And I'm telling you, like, I never heard my mom so happy in her entire life.
That's
or
cool.
anybody that I talked to when I got out that, yeah, you were able to, I'm like, and that's why I can't let this go. I have a white box that's got all my handwritten assignments in it.
Yeah.
Every single letter, handwritten assignments, because if you're doing education and you're in prison, it feels good to get a letter.
Right.
Right? And then you open it up and it's a win. Open it up, it's a win. It was just constant.
I threw all that shit in the trash. As
you?
soon as I was done, I went right in the trash.
Did you?
I was not hauling that shit around from yard
I
to yard.
studied so hard, I just couldn't let it go. Like
Well,
when I
those
looked
packets
at,
are like this thick for
Yeah.
like people who don't know.
Yeah.
They mail you everything in a college course printed off a printer.
yeah,
They're thick.
Yeah.
So as I get through them, lesson one goes, and it bit me in the ass a couple of times because sometimes you get to a lesson 10 and it goes, go back to lesson 1 and what did it say there? So I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm running around for somebody like you who might have an old copy of it somewhere. Like, hey, do you have that class? But
Yeah.
Didn't happen too often. Sometimes you can just wing it too.
yeah. It was a lot of fun taking your time and sitting there studying. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff I learned about neurobiology and addiction that just gave me a deeper understanding of the drivers of motivation and behavior. And
Well,
it was just, it was a really good experience.
speaking of deeper understandings, man, I heard the coolest expression the other day, dude. This guy said, you got a cup of coffee and someone bumps into you and you spill your coffee, right? And you go ask that person, you say, hey, why'd you spill your coffee? 99% of the people are going to say, someone bumped into me. But he didn't spill that coffee because someone bumped into him. He spilled the coffee because that's what was in his cup. So when you get rattled or you get shaken or something unexpected happens, whatever you got in that cup, that's what's going to come out.
Yeah, whether that's anger, resentment.
Yeah. So be careful of what you put in your cup. I was just like,
Absolutely.
man, what a great analogy, especially when you're talking to people that are either newer into recovery or personal development. Just it's a great way to explain that. It was a really, really great way to explain that.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes too to remember that people that are new in recovery aren't necessarily going to understand everything that you're saying. So sometimes you have to spoon feed it to them and meet them where they're at.
Yeah, or believe what you're saying, right? I didn't believe any of this shit, dude. I'm like, that doesn't work. Mindset, bullshit. Perspective, everything sucks. I got bad luck. Poor me.
Saying a bunch of stuff you don't believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't believe any fucking thing, dude. Straight up, none of it.
Well, it's funny you say that because I talked to a guy today that called and he's like, hey, I'm at this program. I really don't like it. Can you tell me about your program? I was like, you're not going to like it over here. He's all, huh? I was like, well, you're going to take you over here. And it sounds like, you're just finding all the negative things about this place that you don't want to be when I know everybody there that provides really good care.
Yeah.
So it's like, I used the tire analogy, on them. I was like, why don't you give that place a chance and start leaning into people because they'll want to lean into you more if you're helping yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really good analogy.
Let me ask you guys this question.
Nope.
What do you think are the most important parts of your reentry? I mean, what do you think are the most important things for success in reentry if you had to pick a couple of things?
I will tell you right now, for me, I had this thing this morning. I was listening to, well, it had to be an Outlaws to Advocates podcast because that's the only one I know about. But I was listening to an episode of a podcast this morning, and they were talking about discipline, right? If you want to talk about what separates people from being successful and from being average or from being happy, from being miserable, there's one word for it. It's discipline, right? It's not necessarily the work that people see you doing. It's that stuff that you're doing in private, right? It lines up with integrity, doing that work in the dark. It gets shown in the light, but doing that work in the dark, being consistent, for me, the stuff that I do continuously, consistently, every single day has been by far the biggest part of my reentry, maintaining that consistency.
Yeah, I've noticed that's one of the areas where you definitely strive is with discipline. I mean, you're one of the most disciplined people that I know.
That's a fucking insane statement, dude, to say that
crazy
to me.
I mean, literally, I'm working a 50-hour week. I'm mentoring probably a dozen guys. I'm chairing probably half a dozen meetings. I'm of service on multiple occasions, and I feel like you're running circles around me just with the stuff that you're doing. And that's awesome. It's not a competition, but I'm just saying that you do a lot. And I've noticed that you put a lot of effort into staying consistently disciplined on everything that you do. And I applaud you for that. I think that's awesome. For me, if I had to say what I believe is the most important thing in my reentry success, it's the people I surround myself with.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is number one, because in my entire life, everybody that's ever been around me is a dope fiend criminal. And I hate to use that term.
We just don't get hired to commit crimes anymore.
Well, what I'm saying is actively doing that same stuff. And the thing is that if I didn't build a new foundation with new friends, new associations, I would be back around those same people doing the exact same thing that I've always done. And how long would it be before I started getting loaded? Being around people like you that encourage me to have discipline, to get up earlier, to learn new things, to uplift myself, and add value to my life. Those things help. People like Jeremy that, we were on the yard together. We can talk, I can talk to him about stuff. I can talk to you about stuff too. Just having people in my life that I know aren't going to help me self-destruct, because I don't need any help doing that.
No.
I need people that are going to help me stay free.
So far we've got discipline.
And we've got support groups. Yeah, support groups, fellowship, people you got around you in your life.
Yeah, and I got something for you, man. So if I wouldn't have, like you said, just ran, right? Like I went into moving furniture, and then I got a job with a new startup, right? And I looked at you and I say, and I'm watching you and I'm telling you right from the beginning, I was like, they got the best of me, right? But one thing I lacked was healthy boundaries. I worked for them 7 days a week for 2.5 years. I did not create a safe space for me to grab my education. I did not create a safe space for my relationship to maintain its healthy nature. I literally dumped anything and everything I could and for them to be successful. And I watched myself, have a lack of boundaries. So I know that maintaining important boundaries, whether in front or behind the curtain, right, is at all costs like the most important thing for me now. Right?
Absolutely.
Like you know, and I'm listening to you stroke, you know, George off, right? But, you know, like I have been out 3 years. That's a freaking accomplishment of some discipline
Absolutely.
that I've never even been able to wrap my head around, dude. Like, no, it's great. Like he's running circles, right? And it's a privilege to watch. And I guess I could just encourage you to always create that safe space for your education to continue to thrive and allow that to come first, because that education, if I'd engaged, right, where would I be at 2 years? Would I be walking, or would I be almost there, right? I'd be almost there, right, realistically. So I literally put off things that I know were more important to me, that are a driving force behind me because I love to learn, and it's a great discipline. And I sacrificed other areas of my life that didn't need to be sacrificed.
Boundaries are super important.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing I've learned. I for a while there, because I had a lot of stuff going on with my business, right, and then with work and with school, and I was really stressed out about it. I was like, oh man, I was a little bit overwhelmed. I was trying to learn how to do videos and trying to learn how to do this stuff. And guess what? I learned how to do the videos. I learned how to do this stuff, right? I mean, we're not exactly where I have to be with it or where I want to be, but
Right.
I'm better. The stuff's going to get done.
It's going to get
The
done.
stuff's going to get done.
Because you know you.
Right. It's going to get there.
We know us now. It's a privilege that we never thought would be possible to attain. Like I'm grasping on to, like, I fucking know who I am, you know, and I struggled for years, and that's why I got high.
No.
You know?
Yeah,
It's great, dude.
But at the root of it, if any of us started using, I mean, none of it would be possible.
no, fuck no, dude.
Nothing. No discipline, no education, no boundaries, nothing. Everything would be lost.
And that's the one thing, like, I'm so, like, I don't even have those conversations, bro. Like, it doesn't even, like, the people that I work with, the people that are struggling, the people that are entering recovery, obviously, those conversations, but they're different, right? But those are messages coming from a service point of view and a helping point of view.
Right.
When we have conversations, I'm not trying to help you guys. You guys aren't, we're helping each other, but I'm not being intentional about, hey, Jesse, this is how you can get better, and, you know, let's figure this stuff out. And the people I surround myself with outside of, we don't talk about our past. We don't talk about the prison stuff. None of that fucking shit's cool.
Prison stuff. Oh, you mean personal development stuff? That's, yeah.
I'm just talking about, like, you know, the war stories and the bullshit, all that fucking crap. You know, it's like, and I refer to that, like, when I'm speaking to people that are incarcerated, like trying to be the king of nowhere. Right? Cool story, great. You're being a king of fucking nowhere, dude. Who gives a shit?
And they're not even the king. It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy.
It's all
yeah.
it's all crap. And the people that we have in our lives, and that's why I'm surrounded by you guys, right? And by the other people that I have in my lives, because we talk about moving forward. We talk about where we're at now. We talk about accountability. Like, I'll never forget that day when Jesse told me about, he's like, oh man, I want to be like you. Like, as far as you just find those moments during the day to get things done. I'm like, motherfucker, dude. I get up at 3:30 in the morning to get that shit done.
Yeah. We're texting each other first thing in the morning, Jesse. What's going on?
Yeah, continue that.
Let me know. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going.
Continue that. Free up my morning.
No, I just love it. You know, like I sit there and, you know, my morning starts to pass, and it's like I'm throw some shit to George today. You know,
Absolutely, man.
You know,
The mornings are the best, dude. Oh, by the way, we all have emails now. George at outlawstoadvocates.com, Jesse at outlawstoadvocates.com, Jeremy at outlawstoadvocates.com. If anybody needs to reach out for help, to talk, want to be a guest. Somebody said to me the other day, oh, when can I come on there? Or he's going to ask me one day to be on there. I said, bro, I got a fucking open door policy. As long as you're not, as long as I know you a little bit and, you know, semi-trustworthy, we can always do it remote. But,
you know, Aaron said that we need to get Angel on here.
Cool.
From Axiom. I just talked to him today, man.
Oh.
Good soul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll reach out to him.
I actually almost brought up his name before. I forgot what we got.
Angel Martinez.
Yeah, I forgot what you got. Martinez or Lopez?
Martinez.
The bald dude?
Yeah.
Lopez.
Well, there's Angelo Lopez.
Oh, Angelo. It's Angelo.
Yeah, another good one.
Yeah,
right?
he's great.
Like, he is incredible, dude.
Oh, Angel Martinez. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. We toured him at New Freedom. Bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loves
Absolutely.
the catfish.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on.
Yeah. Aaron. Really?
It just depends on how she's going to act. We know how Aaron
Yeah,
is.
she can act up. She can act up.
That depends on if the aliens leave her in
probably-
Jersey. Did you get that text from her?
Yeah, I know.
About the aliens in New Jersey? That's so funny, man.
All right, so let me ask you guys another question. I got another good one. What would you say is the best foundation that you laid in prison that has carried with you to the streets, that has helped you by building it there? What would you say is your strongest foundation?
For me, the number one thing that I learned in prison was networking. I saw the value in it as soon as it started to happen, as soon as I started to connect with people, people in prison, right? The people I was surrounding myself with that were also incarcerated. And then the value with the different staff members that I knew could help out with something, that wanted to help out, obviously in a pro-social way. I'm not talking about manipulation or that stuff, but I'm like, okay, this CO3 is down to do some crazy stuff, you know, as far as teaching a class together, whatever. That when I went through Second Chance, every single class I taught was with a staff member. To the point where one of the kids in Second Chance, or one of the participants in Second Chance, goes, "Hey, are you new here?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Did you get in trouble?" What do you mean? Yeah, I've been in a bunch of trouble. Like, where are we going with this? He's like, "You're the only one every time why do you have to always teach with staff?" I'm like, "We bring them in because they get to see what we're doing. You guys get to see that they're human beings." Because the staff members we had there were Rubio, who I taught a class with in Globe, and Second Chance. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Powell and Miss Lauren.
Yeah.
And they all want to be a part of that. So why not involve them? Let them see those wins. Let them see the value. Let them see the human side. Besides, what's my release date? When am I? Yeah. What's my score? How much money is on my books?
Is my ID here yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think the most powerful thing that I built when I was in prison was probably my morning routine. You know, reading some positive literature, saying some things that I'm grateful for, prayer, meditation, and those motivational podcasts.
Are you still doing the prayer, meditation, all that stuff?
I am.
You are? Cool.
I am. And I'll tell you what, the difference of doing that in the morning and not doing that is so significant.
Absolutely. So significant.
It's like setting a rudder on a boat and just having direction.
Absolutely.
It's so powerful.
Otherwise, it's like getting on a banana boat and running out the fucking door.
Otherwise, it's driftwood. You're driftwood. You're just floating.
Floating. That's it.
Yeah. You're just floating.
That's the one thing I hate the most, dude, is fucking rushing. I shouldn't say always, because lately I've been running a little bit late as far as getting out of here on time because I've been caught up and stuff. I'm not making an excuse, just what it is.
No offense to our Russian listeners.
Yeah.
0.00%.
0.0034%, I think we're at. But I remember I was going to Community 43 where you bought me that painting from.
They're having an art show coming up here pretty soon.
I go outside. I always leave myself a lot of time, right? I see some stuff in my passenger seat. I go, throw it away. And I hear like a jingle when I throw it away. And I'm like, there's no way I just threw my keys in this fucking dumpster, dude. No way. I walk back to my car, no keys. That's awesome, dude. Awesome. Great job, dude.
Thank you, Jesse.
Every episode, one of us has to do it. I love it. But sure as shit, I'm in that dumpster looking for my fucking keys, which are buried in a pile of grass. I found them in that nasty ass fucking dumpster out there.
Good
It's
for
like
you.
old times.
Yeah.
And I made it to Community 43 on time.
I think they're shout out to Community 43. Let me just announce it here.
Yeah.
Yep, they have a arts and crafts holiday market Saturday, December 14th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They have vendors, food, tunes. If you haven't been to Community 43,
Awesome.
Shout out. You don't know who you are when you get there, but you're a member if you say you are. So go out there, be a part of the community, be of service.
Yeah, Community 43 is fire. You sent me that today, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Pennsylvania with my family.
Yeah, that's
man.
amazing.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
My kid asked me the other day, he's like, you know how you're getting home from the airport yet? I'm like, I thought you guys were picking me up. He's like, bro, we both work. Like, we thought you were coming or whatever. And then my daughter-in-law told me last night that, either last night or this morning, that she took off, so she's going to be picking me up. But I'm not scared to rent a car. I proved that shit in Baltimore, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited and get to see everybody and hang out and play with the grandkids and be push pop.
Push pop.
Yeah, that's the name they came up with. So that's the name that works. It's pretty.
It checks
cool.
out.
Absolutely.
What was your name growing up, Jesse?
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, want to talk about perspective and way to turn things around? Fat Joe, right? You know why they called him Joey Crack?
Mm-mm.
Because when he was a kid, they used to bully him because he was a fat kid, and his crack would hang out the back of his pants, so they called him Joey Crack. It was a derogatory term. I always thought it was like a crack dealer or whatever, some drugs thing. No, it was just Fat Joe and Joey Crack were names that they used to bully him with when he was a kid. And he turned that shit into $1 million empire.
What is that? No,
That's my computer.
Oh, hi, computer.
Well, this computer, apparently.
I'm pretty confident we've lost every listener. I mean, the three of us are signed in.
Okay.
I think Robert Picard shared it for us. He's lost viewers as well.
And friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. I love Robert Picard, man. He's good people. So what's the most valuable lesson you've learned?
The most valuable lesson I've learned is a pretty simple one. Drugs will make any problem worse. You know,
They don't fix them?
no,
Oh, it's happening twice today. That's awesome.
it doesn't matter what I got
You're
going
welcome.
on in my life. Getting high is going to make it worse. Never
Right.
better.
Are you sure?
Certain.
I wish they would have told us drugs were bad before we started using them.
They did. You didn't listen. You were in DARE, fourth grade DARE officer. Yeah, they told you that. You didn't listen.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm certain. You've heard that in your life.
Oh man, what about you?
The biggest lesson I've learned is that at the end of the day, no matter how much you accomplish when you get out here, you can never do it alone.
No. That's extremely valuable. 100%.
And I've learned that, like Jesse talks about a lot, the relationships that we build, right? And just up until recently, you know, when you're like, when all the lights are off and you say your prayers and meditations, you think about those that you love. I used to not think about that stuff at all.
No.
Yeah, little things become big things because they really are big things.
They're huge. That's when someone passes away, right? When you lose someone from your life, it's not like the big moments that you miss, right? It's the little phone calls and the small little laughs and maybe, you know, those little stolen moments. I call them like sliding glass door moments, those little moments that occur, those little special things, it's the small things, man. We call them the small things, but they're actually, to me, the most valuable things, the little chuckle or the giggle that you might hear that you don't get to hear anymore.
I'm piggybacking on that a little bit. Let me tell you guys something that I was reflecting on lately.
Nope.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's sanctuary for you.
That's not true. We've said yes to your guys coming right out. Stop it.
Anyway, no, what I was getting at was, you know, like a big part of my addiction was I was away from my family. And, you know, now that I'm sober and I'm so consumed with service and work, I've noticed that I'm still spending a lot of time away from my family. And one of the things that I'm making a New Year's resolution to try to commit to is if I'm so consumed with service and with everything else that I'm still not making adequate time for my family, have I really changed?
Right.
You know, because if all my dad and my mom ever wanted was for me to be present and I'm still not present, I'm just sober and I'm saying, look at all these good things that I'm doing, but all they've ever wanted was me around and I'm still not around, you know, really, what am I doing?
Well, you're doing a lot, Jesse. And can I say something though?
No, but anyway.
No, I had it coming.
No, but anyway, no. The thing is though, is like, I think that it's important to find balance in everything else that we do because it's real easy for me to get so consumed in recovery and forget that my family deserves adequate time as well.
Right.
You know, if I can't make time to have dinner with my mom once a week because I use the fucking bullshit excuse that I got to go to a fucking meeting, there's a fucking problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, or if I don't have time to sit with my dad because I want to fucking run around and be a jackass in town and I got to go to a meeting, there's a problem with that. I need to make time for my family too.
Absolutely.
And that's something that was coming to me in meditation just today. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, dude, you're a fucking jackass. You're doing all these things. You're helping all these people, but you're not spending time with your family.
No.
And who'd you hurt the most when you were in prison? Them. You need to fucking make more time for them. I was thinking about that and I was just like, wow, just punched me right in the mouth.
That's good.
You know,
But that comes from meditation, right? From self-awareness, I swear to God, dude, I stood in where the hell were we? I was with Matt. Oh, Dollar Tree. With this dude behind me on the phone saying the most abrasive shit and just a lack of self-awareness, loud, you know, it was just the craziest conversation. And we were stuck in a pretty long line, dude. And this went on the entire, I was like, finally we were leaving. I'm like, Matt, please just get out that fucking door. Let me out. I'm about to lose my shit in here. So it's kind of like being stuck in a chow line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're the greatest stories on the planet.
Not at all. But I was just like, oh my God, dude. So we finally get out of there. But that lack of self-awareness, it's great that when you're able to see that. And it's also good to have people around that can point stuff out, right? Like stuff that we don't see. But the only way you're able to see, like spending time with your family, or if maybe if you're making excuses or whatever, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but, having to go do other stuff besides that, being able to see that yourself is an absolute skill.
Yeah, it's a learned skill.
Right.
It's a learned skill.
So now, one thing I caught though, you said at the beginning, one thing I'm going to try to do for my New Year's resolution, right? We know where trying gets us. Don't get us fucking nowhere.
Nowhere.
So setting a hard date on that, what you're going to do, maybe the date with your mom, put it on the calendar, whatever that looks like, because your family deserves you, man. You're a pretty good dude. If they want to do it on Wednesday nights, that's fine, bro. Go have dinner with your mom on Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
We'll be all right. We'll get Ashley. We'll get Ashley out here. So
No, but let me ask you this. So saying that, one of the things that I need to work on is I need to make more time for my family. If there was something that is important to you in your life, is there something in your life that maybe you could be allocating more time to that you haven't? If I had to ask you the same question, if you had to reflect a little bit on that.
Absolutely. Pretty proud of yourself right now, huh?
No, I'm just asking.
No, I get it. It's yeah, I definitely need to put more time into my relationship, for sure. All right, it's people deserve the best version of us, and don't get me wrong, I'm 7 months or so out of prison, right? I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to get stable. Like you said, we don't have retirements. We don't have a bunch of money in the bank to fall back on. A huge driving factor for me is somebody asked me a long time ago, Brett Matosian from Reentry by Design. He asked me, he said, hey, he was like my original mentor. He still is. He said, hey, is this world better off for having had you in it? Is this world better or worse? And if I answer that honestly, it's fucking worse, dude. It's worse. I've been doing good stuff for a couple of years, but I was doing terrible stuff for a really long time. There's tons and tons and tons of people I impacted in negative ways out there. So trying to balance that scale and be able to feel good about myself, I have to continue to do this stuff. I don't have to push as hard as I've been pushing. I can allot for some times. And the one thing I can say is I'm getting better with the balance, right? I am finding that free time. Things have settled down. I'm figuring out I can put money, I can put time here, I can put time there. And at the end of the day, dude, if I just take some time off, guess what?
It is what it is.
The shit still gets done. It still gets done. It still gets figured out. Things are going to be okay. The world doesn't stop. If it's different with school, if you got a deadline, got to finish homework. Like I've rushed you guys out of here a couple of Wednesdays. I'm like, dude, got to go. I can get the shit done.
I brought my sleeping bag today.
Yeah, did you? You did?
Good, because you're driving me to the fucking airport in the morning.
Whoa. No, like, and another thing too, I think for me, and part of the reason that I stay so consumed with service is that I really believe in my heart that there's a difference from providing a service and being a service. All of us work in recovery,
absolutely.
So we provide a service for a living, but I'm getting paid to do that. That's not me giving anything.
Right.
That's me being paid to work.
Right.
Yes, with my experience, strength, and hope, I'm in a unique place to be able to help somebody in what I'm doing, but that's not me being of service, I don't think. So I have to allocate time off the clock to help people.
What'd you do Thanksgiving morning?
What did we all do Thanksgiving morning?
What was that, service work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that was a blast. Like I had fun with you guys. We didn't even talk about the stuff we usually talk about, whether we're working over here or we're doing, the usual shit we talk about. It was cool just to be out there, hang out with Haley, meet some of the members, have fun. We got Peggy Sue up on the wall. It was a really good morning. I came home that day. I felt really, really good about myself.
Well, the mentorship with the guys from Cimarron.
Yeah.
We make time for that. That's not paid for.
Absolutely.
And that kind of stuff, that's the stuff that I think really pays my debt back to society, not working in behavioral health. It's making time to give back off the clock is where it really counts.
Absolutely.
But it's juggling that and trying to find balance for what's important to you too, which in my case is my family. And I just need to make more time for it.
And try not to beat yourself up too much, because the reality is that if your family calls you right now and they need you, you can be there. And the reality is that you blessed them with the gift of not having to worry anymore. Like your dad's not thinking right now that you're out screwing your life off.
No, but if my dad died tomorrow, if I looked in the mirror and said, since you've been out of prison, have you given him the amount of time that you should have given him? The answer would be no.
There you go.
There you go.
Time to make that change then.
Yeah. Time to prepare and take action.
Yeah.
And your dad's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, I can't believe you. It's horrible. Your dad is a good dude.
Oh, it's my mom too. You know, it's just
I
just
haven't met your mom, but that's what she told me to tell you.
it's just there's those few people in our lives. I mean, in my life that have always shown me unconditional love. You know, my grandparents, my mom, my dad, my stepdad. They've always loved me. They've always been there for me no matter what. They've always supported me, even though I was a fucking piece of shit and didn't deserve anything. They were always there for me. And it's like I always tell them, you know, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And this time it is different in the sense of I'm clean. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm coming up on 8 years. I mean, my life is on a completely different trajectory. But what's not different is I still need to be spending more time with them.
Right.
So that's something I'm going to work on.
And that's a phenomenal goal, right? And it's realistic, and it's something that you can definitely make happen. But on the flip side, kind of like what Jeremy was saying, like not being too hard on yourself. Again, we know what this usually looks like when we get out. We had that conversation at work, and they were like, "Oh, that's amazing what you're doing with this or that." And you're like, "Dude, it's just fucking amazing that we're sober."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Because this is what we don't do. This
Yeah.
is what we're not good at.
Yeah.
So being there for your family, being an honest employee and all that stuff, like
Yeah,
this
can't
having
be
this
discounted.
conversation, even right. Thank you.
I thought I had it muted.
That's awesome. 3 times in one podcast. Phenomenal.
Well, nobody's listening but us
Bunch
three.
of re-entry experts who can't work their
But
fucking
it's just us
phone.
three. It's just us three anyway.
But we're here, man. We're here. We're present. And if your family needed you, you'd be right there. We'd be right there alongside you. You know. So we're here for you. If there's anything that we can do, you know. I think just talking about this and being vulnerable about this with everybody else too tells a lot about who you are and what's at the forefront of your mind and heart.
Well,
and
I think a lot of it too, yeah. Just like you said, it's just all of us are going to have our own reentry experiences. You know, we're all on the right track. You know, getting high is not something that we really have to worry about right now. I mean, it's always something that could happen, but we're in recovery. We're doing the deal. You know, getting high is not something that any of us think about. But what are the things that we need to work on? Relationships, spending time with the family, balance, budgeting, being a fucking adult. You know, all the stuff that I've never done.
Adult shit sucks, dude. Mike McGrain's on here. He's a Persevere graduate. Great dude. He said, and at one point you will see the worry melt from your parents' shoulders when they finally know that their boy's going to be all right. And they know that now, right?
yeah.
And it's awesome to see. I remember my mom, when I first got out, she'd make little references because she's concerned about drinking. Like when I went to her house, she's like, "Oh, if I would have known you were coming, I would have got all the beer out of the fridge." And I'm like, "Okay." And now, like, those conversations don't happen anymore. That concerns.
Right.
She still checks on me as a human, but she's not terrified of me sticking a needle in my arm in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we've been able to take that away. Your parents are a lot more at peace, at least at that.
Yeah, they
But
are at peace.
I do not want at any point in time to discourage you from spending more time with your family. I think that's an amazing goal, dude. And it's something to be intentional about. And to be honest, it's not always that much fun, right? It takes some discipline.
It
It
does.
takes some effort. You gotta, family's not always great. Mine is, of course, especially since I'm going to see him this weekend. But being able to do that and take that time for them, that's service too. It's service for you. It's service for them. And if you're having that feeling like you were talking about,
It's conviction.
if that,
And if it's anything that I know about your dad, he probably wants some McDonald's and a pack of cigarettes on your way home.
Yeah.
oh, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And there better not be onions on the hamburger.
Yeah, you better.
Or I'm taking it back. Because he doesn't want it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty great car ride home, dude. That day with your dad, he's a character, man. He's good people. I remember when I stopped to fix that seat, he's like, "Oh, we're buying a car." Pretty awesome, man. We get to live great lives. We're surrounded by great people. We get to hear great stories, right? We get to do this shit on Wednesday nights. It's fun, man. It's really, really fun, really grateful. All we have to do is stay fucking sober, man. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is bonus, right? It's bonus. You're doing the work, getting together, hanging out. It comes from sobriety. All of this instantaneously within weeks, if not days, or not even if we're talking overdose and death. goes away like that.
I was having a hard day. I was being hard on myself. I'm like, there's no way my employer's getting what I'm worth, today, right? And then I'm like, I wrote down of all the list of things I got done. And I was like, holy shit, that's great. Like, what are you talking about? I literally, when you see it on paper, right? It does help a tremendous amount.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting better about that, using my notes in my iPhone to mark out, like in the mornings and stuff. As soon as I get done praying, meditating, these are the things at the forefront that are the highest priority. And then all this other stuff, if I don't get that done today, that's okay.
No.
It's pretty cool.
That's a great way to set the day. This is the one thing I have to do for today in order for today to be a win.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff is kind of.
And if it's something important that's not in my calendar, I make sure I mark it in the calendar.
No.
I missed an appointment yesterday. I feel pretty bad about it. But it was at 7:00 at night, outside of my boundary line.
No.
But it was within a mountain. I had turned off my notifications, after 5:00. So it's an agreement I had with myself. Maybe I should have never made that commitment.
We just talked about boundaries.
Yeah, yeah. But I had to send him out an email today and apologize and let him know that I'd like to reschedule and stuff. And that's okay, man. I made a mistake. Stay humble in my convictions and work my program.
No, absolutely. That's a lesson that I learned, for people that are newer into this game. When you're setting those things on your calendar, you have to have travel time.
Yeah.
I would set it, okay, like when we go to Tucson on Wednesday, right? Okay, I got Tucson from 8 in the morning till 11 in the afternoon, or 11 in the morning, whenever our class is.
That's going to be an all-day thing next week, right?
Now it's on my calendar from 5 until 3. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. They haven't firmed anything up. I haven't pushed the envelope with what that looks like. So whenever they're ready, I'm sure they'll let us know. They're definitely wanting to do more, but we can discuss all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's definitely really good things coming. The most important part is, like you guys said, the emails that we've gotten from those guys that are incarcerated, right? And how much turmoil that was going on there, and the changes that are happening. And like, I got 2 of the guys whose spouses have called me, and I've been able to help with stuff out here. Happy family, happy person in there, right?
Yeah.
And just to be able to influence that change. But anyways, back to the calendar thing. If you're setting calendar appointments, allow time for travel, because it's not 8 to 11. It's from 5 to about 3 by the time you get home, right? So I said, I got Cimarron 8 to 11, and then I forget about it. I'm just looking at my calendar. I see the blue mark, and I set a tour or something for 12, and there's no way I'm making it back.
No.
Those are some lessons I've had to learn while I'm back to back in tours and all kinds of shit. But
outreach ain't nothing nice when you're, putting out a name for yourself. I mean, I ran and gunned that, Northside train, which a good benefit, Joel. That's one person, right? There was actually many, but it was a good experience. But yeah, your schedule is stacked like a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those little 15-minute gaps are so important.
Dude, I wrote my last psych paper like 3 days ago. I don't have any school till January 6th or 8th or something. And I'm like a little kid. I'm like, I don't have to do shit. I got like 4 hours back a week, man.
I need some encouragement, man, from you guys. I need to get this biology course out of the way so I can open up my degree path. Right now, it's only, through applied science degrees. But if I just take that other biology course, then it completely opens up my scholarship opportunities, university opportunities to any major university in the United States, actually. And I've been procrastinating. And
it should be there anyway.
The war of
the applied science.
The war of art. I picked it up, just like Jason Tierney said. It's a punch in the mouth when it comes to resistance and understanding procrastination. Like it makes you think of anything and everything that you're like at the forefront of your mind, that's been put off to some degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is a punch in the mouth.
Yeah. Well, as we start wrapping up here, we got, speaking of punches in the mouth, we got Hal Devitt, I believe his name is. I got his book over there coming on. Former Marine, narcotics detective, inmate.
Yeah.
He said he was really good at making some drug busts, but he wasn't really good about finding the evidence room. He's got a great,
Yeah.
he's got a great story. He's wrote a book. He's going to be coming on here shortly.
Good stuff.
I don't want to give too much away from his story, but it's just
He knows my sponsor, Brian Evenson, really well.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they know each other.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. He's actually friends with our clinical director, or I'm not sure what Dave's title is, but they're buddies. They speak
Great story,
very
yeah.
highly of each other. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having him on here. He's a lot of fun. I got to spend about an hour with Starbucks with him last Saturday. Those
Awesome.
good people. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I've been telling everybody that I'm getting high tomorrow and I'm getting high on Sunday, and
Yeah.
people are like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Flying out on
Airplane
tomorrow?"
time.
Flying back on Sunday. Yeah, so pretty stoked for that. I hope everybody has
Make sure you check into your flight.
already did.
Did you?
Already did.
Good.
Yeah, I got an email alert. I hope everybody has a great weekend, is safe, get your Christmas shopping done. I did it a couple of nights ago. It absolutely sucks, but we got through. Actually, I did better than I thought I was going to do. But you got anything else for tonight?
Yeah, I got something real quick. What I would say is just try to make sure whatever you're doing, you make time for the people in your life that are important to you. Because time's the most, time is the most valuable thing that we have.
Yeah.
And if you give somebody your time, you're giving them part of your life that you can never get back.
100%.
Thank you, Jesse.
So definitely make time for the people that are important to you. Work ain't that important.
Listen, it'll get done, man.
It'll get done.
It'll absolutely get done. What about you, Jeremy?
No, I'm just going to double down. You know, it's like one of the things that I always used to think about, you know, is the gift of time, right? And time is the greatest commodity we can give another human being. And you're right, George. At times it's a sacrifice,
Yep.
you know,
100%.
because we just can't get out of our own way enough to give to somebody that's been in their corner so unconditionally for us, right? So I really appreciate the conversation, Jesse. I think what you're touching on tonight really hit home for me too, and I appreciate you, brother. Love you guys.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck to you. Thanks for all the comments and your time, because like these guys just said, it's your greatest commodity. Hope everybody has a good night. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
All 6 of you.
See you later, Peggy Sue.
Yeah.